So, hi everyone, and welcome back to this video. And this one, as per your demands, I have the breakdown of this UFO VFX clip that I created, and it's nothing, it's just basically some compositing that I did in Fusion. Okay, so right now, as you can see, our final product looks something like this. And we did a lot of things in it, but let me first come to this Fusion, and here you can see that we have all of this, like all the nodes basically. If I do control zoom out, you can see that we have a lot of nodes here. This might scare you a bit, but let me tell you, the nodes which you have used here are very basic, and if you're a frequent watcher of this channel, then you know all of these nodes and know basically how to use these kind of nodes. So I think we should begin, and the first thing which you will notice that the color which was grade, like color grade which we had, has gone. So in Fusion things are like this. If I go to this colors tab over here, you can see I have all the nodes here and I have the grade. But in Fusion, so how it works is basically, let me just zoom it in. I think this much is fine. We are getting input or output, you can say, from this node, and this node is not color graded, okay, color corrected or whatever it is. So that's why it's looking something like this. We should begin, I think, now. So the first thing is, you can see we have our this video. This is the media in one node, and I had this video separately in my media pool, and then I just dragged it into the time like node graph, and you can see that we have this video. After this, as you can see, that we have this pipe router. So this pipe router you can create by hitting alt and then like left clicking and dragging. You will have this pipe router. This is nothing, it's just like it's just used for organization basically, this and also like other things also. And the first thing that you will notice is that we have this node also here, like note, sticky note. This is basically sticky note. If you hit shift plus space bar and type NTE, sorry, instead of STE, if you type NTE, you'll have the sticky note option, and if you will click add, then you can type something in here. If I just come here and type anything, you can see. Okay, now I'll just delete it because you don't need this. And as you can see that I have typed here things to be added. First was this UFO UFO model. And as you can see, and let me just view this media out, that we have our UFO model. Second, making clouds. So this is nothing, it's just an image of this UFO, some transformation of that UFO model basically, and then I have added some tidbits of clouds on top of this. Okay, so that's why it's looking like this UFO model is here, and our model is very realistic. This is also like making it great. Lastly, because of color grade and all of that cinematic thing which I did, like making the timeline resolution cinematic, adding those letterboxes, all of those things together make this a really nice composite shot. Okay, so I think we should start. And after this video, what I did was add the tracker, and in this tracker you can see that we have two markers over here. Why do we have these two markers? Well, to basically stick our UFO model and also the clouds on this video. Okay, so if I play, you can see those tracker. Okay, so right now this tracker is only working, so I think I just used tracker 3 maybe instead of tracker 4. That's why I have two trackers. If I click on tracker 3, yeah, so these two trackers are there. Okay, and we will use these data. As you can see that we have this modifier and we have this path basically. We'll just copy it to the transform node, but let me just first show you. So this was the basic thing which we did, like the first things. Okay, after that I grabbed my UFO model. So this is a random image that I grabbed from any, like you can grab any image from any your favorable browser, and I have this image. I think that this UFO model is used in some sort of movie or something, I don't know. After this, as you can see that we have this Luma keyer add node over here. What this is doing basically, you can see here we have some blur, contract, expand, gamma, all of these things, but the main thing is this. I have choose this luminance channel and then grabbed or keyed out all of those black part basically. That is it. You can do that with Luma keyer. If you have green screen, then I suggest that you should add delta keyer. Okay, and in this you can just basically grab this and then it will just key that out. Then simply we have a brightness contrast over here and also a color corrector. You might see one thing, that we have this blue input connected to this color corrector. And why is that? That is because if I don't check this color if I don't attach this blue input right here, and if I just show this to you, let me just come here and check this merge node. Okay, and if I didn't connect this blue output, so this would color correct all the image, which we don't want. That's why, because we have this part already keyed out, I connected this to the blue input of it. Very simple, very easy. Right now, as you can see, its resolution is 640 by 360, which is very low, which is the default resolution of this image. So I added a resize node and I checked this auto resolution simply, and because of that you can see that the resolution is back, okay, which is 4K float 32-bit. Very nice. And then again adding a pipe router with hitting alt and left click, just for organization purposes. What I did here was, this is a technique which I have showed in my previous text typography video, so I suggest that you should watch that first and then you can come here or like do all sort of thing. But first you can see this. I'll just quickly give a brief explanation of it. I just added this blur node, arrow dilate, and this. Why did I added both of these nodes? Just to create this pump node. Okay, I can simply connect this also over here. I don't need these two nodes. If I do this, you can see that we have this, and if I increase the height scale, you can see we have those bumpiness. But with the help of this blur and arrow dilate, we have some more control over here. So if I go to blur and here if I increase it, you can see we have some softness, and because of this arrow dilate, you can see what is happening. Okay, so you can do all this kind of stuff. And with this channel boolean node, what we are doing is basically I have this enable extra channels thing added, and then we are taking the normals from this bump map and then adding it to this shader node. Okay, and what this shader node is doing, basically adding the reflections. This is our 360 degree EXR image. Okay, this is also 4K by the way, and it's really high resolution. And then I added this brightness contrast just to tweak some settings. Okay, and then with this shader node, as you can see, we have this image as environment reflection map. Okay, and this channel boolean as the input, and the shader node, if I come over here and increase the reflection, you can see what is happening. All right, so I did some changes like that, and then I added a transform node. Well, why I added this transform node? Just to place it basically on our basic image. If I just quickly enable this merge node and show this to you, and if I just disable this transform node just for a moment, so you can see we have this transform node, and in here in this center property, you can see we have all those position markers which we had in our tracker. So what I did was I came here in the center, right clicked and modify with connect to and tracker 1 tracker 3 path. Okay, so as you can see in modifiers we have this trackered path. So this is that track path which I just showed you in the tracker, so this one. Okay, and you can see also it's attached to the video now. It's a little slow right now. Let me just do auto proxy to have some movement. Then on top of this transform I added another transform, and in this I don't think that we have any kind of modifiers. Okay, so basic. So what I did was, you can see here we have this basic path just going here to here, and also some basic angle keyframes also. Okay, so it's rotating also when it's coming here, as you can see right here. Very basic. And then this is something else. I'll not explain this in this one because I have disabled it, so maybe I have tried something which didn't work out. And lastly, we added this merge on top of this. Very simple, very basic. I hope that till now it is very easy peasy and very simple. Now don't care about this node right now. After this, now we have our basic UFO attached to our video. Obviously it's not looking that great, so how do we make that great, and how do we just take it to the next level? Now you do all the compositing. So this also comes in compositing, but the real advanced level stuff comes now. I have this fast noise. Okay, and in this fast noise, what I did was I choose gradient, and I have this radial right here. As you can see, we have this. So if I can increase or decrease it, so you can see it's working. And then in the black one, I have this alpha channel enabled, because if I don't do that, it will become black. I have this alpha set to 0. Now in this brightness contrast, I have decreased gain and put an ellipse on it. Okay, so this will create an illusion of something like clouds. And then again, with the help of this transform, okay, doing the same thing in modifiers, as you can see, I have this tracker path enabled on it, and also I have this offset on transform on this tracker. Okay, and you can see that I have played with its center value, like positioned it. You can see if I then again merged it, now you can see it's over here. If I disable this, I hope that you can see the difference. This is normal, this is by default, and yeah, with this fast noise. So what this does is basically, so if I bring my UFO here and if I disable this transform, you can see nothing's here. But with this transform, whoa, a big change, right? Okay, then again doing the same thing, again a fast noise, again this brightness contrast, again transform, but this time just changing the position with again offset transform. And we also have this tracker path enabled on all of these. Then again merging it on top of this, you can see we have some haze over here. Again a transform, again merge, okay, just to make it visible. Then again a fast noise, again brightness contrast, same thing, just to add those tidbits of clouds basically. And now we have some clouds over here, some over here, and some over there. Okay, that's great. Then I did this thing which I didn't like, but you can do it if you want to have this kind of effect, which is adding the fast noise. And in here in this fast noise, we have X scale to 20 and Y scale to 0. And also we have increased the contrast, increased brightness, and also detail. That's why it's looking something like this. Then I added this displaced node. This is off now. If I turn it on, you can see we have this kind of distorted effect, and also I have the seed rate enabled. So if I play, it will be something like this. Then merging it on top of our clip, and also we have this transform node over here, and this like transform center and all of these things. Why is that? Let me just show you. If I enable this merge node, I added this under our UFO. You can see that distorted effect, okay, just to make it some more real, because obviously any sort of vehicle, any like put some heat, basically have some heat distortion. You can see that in cameras, but I didn't like that kind of effect, so that's why it was disabled. Okay, then coming to these merge nodes now, so you can see it's basically dependent on mask, transform, and merge. That is it. Okay, and a single tracker did all of it. Like we have enabled just a single tracker, and then with modifiers we are just playing with it. Then because of this media one that we have over here, I added a time stretch. So what this time stretcher do is basically, you can see, okay, so we have this single freeze frame all over the timeline. Now I have again this pipe router over here. Why? Because we have so many merges over here, and all of these merges are just clouds. If I see this one, okay, so first of all we have this background as input, and it's alpha'd out obviously. That's why you can see the checker underlay beneath this cloud. Okay, so same thing. So now what I'm doing is basically taking clouds from this image itself. Okay, not doing that fast noise kind of thing. Taking bits of cloud from this image itself, and then making a mask of it with the help of ellipse, as you can see, doing it right here. Then this one also over here, this one over here, this one over here, and all of with the help of all of these ellipse we have over here. Now we have this, but if I play it now, okay, so right now we can't see that, but like if I had played that now, it would not attach to the image. Okay, it would just float as it is. It would be as it is, and our image would be moving. That would not look that great. So again, adding a pipe router, taking inputs like outputs from all of these, and with the help of those pipe routers, adding this transform. Why? Just to track So in center, right click, again modify, like connect to, and adding all of those trackers, and with those you can see it is now tracked, and you can see it's attached to the clip. And then with the help of merge, we have your cloud on top of your UFO, doing the same thing on all of these. Okay, all of these merges, we have some different ellipse here and there. Okay, we have transform, as you can see, all of these transform, and they are doing the same thing. So another cloud, as you can see, I'm showing this one by one to you. Another one, and also one more. Yeah, this was the last one, and this completes our image. That's the only thing that I did over here. So if I recap, like if I make a recap of it, so what I did was, basically I have this UFO image and I also have our video. What we have to do is, we have to, and yeah, by the way, I already had a vision on that day. I had a vision that what I have to do with this clip. That's why I made it like this. That's why I did this. That's why I recorded that ways only, because I knew what I had to do with it. Okay, I knew that I have to put a UFO on it and put some clouds on it. So that's why. And then with this media, I just tracked it. Okay, with the simple 2D tracker. We don't even have to do some 3D tracking stuff. With simple 2D tracker, because what we are doing is just panning and rotating or moving, just standing on a single place. We are not like walking or running or doing something like that. We are just standing on one place and our camera is panning and rotating. Okay, so because of that, we have the benefit of using this 2D tracker. Otherwise, if I was walking, or like there was some, how do I explain that, like if I was walking or running, and if I like put my camera, go through all of that, a pathway, and created something like that, then on those kind of times we have to use 3D camera tracking. But this time 2D tracking worked really fine. And yeah, adding this tracker, then tracking it, that is it. Okay, now just keep it as it is, because you have all the data in this tracker path modifier in Fusion. This is a great thing. And then we have this like this basic, this is just an image. Can you believe that? This is just a basic image. Okay, then with this Luma keyer, keying that black part out, then color correcting it just a little bit, resizing it. Okay, and doing this is not a compulsory thing. I can even disable this. You'll not see any difference. Okay, so these nodes are not that important. Sorry, all of the nodes are not that important. Like all these nodes, if I disable these with Control P, you can see that didn't make any difference. Then attaching this with a transform. How we are attaching this with a transform? We have that tracking data. Okay, track data, and we can attach it by right clicking on the center, because we need to change its position, right? So that's why right clicking on the center, connect to, and tracker1_1 path. That is it. Then to transform this while on the like manipulate the position on that tracked data, I added this transform node, and you can see what it's doing. It is already tracked and also moving its position, which is a great thing. And then simply just merging it with the clip. Okay, now we have our basic UFO merged into a clip, and you can see how it's looking. It's looking good. Like all the tracking and all the things are looking good, but right now you can see that it is edited. Like you can have that our eye is good at catching all the these kind of things basically. Then adding some clouds here and there. We have this fast noise over here, have this one over here, this one, and another, and doing all of the same thing. Like we have this cloud, track data, merging it. That is it, doing all of it again and again. Then taking the clouds from the image itself with the help of this time stretcher. We have the single frame, then masking that out with the ellipse, then merging it onto our clip, and with the help of transform, putting the tracking data, and then we have something like this. You can see this cloud is tracked on it and doing the same thing again and again. And also one thing, that in this transform we also added this offset on transform. That is simply it. Yes, that is it, because to rotate its position also, so that's why. All right, doing this again and again, and lastly adding all the clouds and all of it, you will have something like this. But still it's not looking that good, it's not looking that cinematic. Why is that? That's because where color grading happens. Okay, so if I just remove this gallery and all those nodes, so I have basically 8 nodes over here in which I did all of that color grading. If I disable all of these with Alt D, and you can see I have disabled all of those. And also we have this letterbox. That's because if I go in timeline, output blanking, if I do reset, that is gone. So I went into timeline, output blanking, did 2.4, I think 2.4 or 2.3, I don't know, it was something like this. Okay, it's looking a little flat, so let's color grade it. In the first node I added this curve basically and went into my primaries and decreased some gain, increased some gamma, all of that stuff. And in HDR wheels also you can see I think I did changes in here. So you can see in light we have this -1. Okay, so let me first just enable it. It was disabled, so I did this kind of stuff. So what I did was I took all the mid-tones and lower parts down. You can see in the graph also in this parade scopes, and took my highlights, and let me just show this to you. You can see in the light part I just decreased it, and in highlights I increased it by 3, which is a lot. So that's why I have this kind of stuff over here, because I knew that I will add some glow and all of that stuff to it, so it will look good. In the next node, if I enable it again, in my HDR palettes did some color corrections. So I came in this shadow and brought it towards more cyan and decreased some saturation also. And yeah, that was it. And in this one I have effects panel open, and in the effects, as you can see in this node, I added this glow, and in composite type I chose soft light and also decreased this shine threshold, and also played with this blend also and opacity. That is it. In the third node and the fourth one I added halation. Sorry, I'll do Control D to enable it. Yeah, after adding halation you can see it's a very slight change, subtle change, but it is there. Then again in this one I added, so it's enabled now. Basically it's taking time, it's an heavy file. In this one, in the fifth node, I added film grain, and if I zoom that in, by the way, in halation you can see, okay, that this kind of stuff has happened. If I just disable it and enable it again, you can see all of those red borders and all that thing. And in grain, if I disable it and enable it, I think you can see that YouTube compression is good enough to show you this, and I'm shooting this in 4K also, so it should work. And lastly, added this prism blur. If I enable it, okay, to get that aberration, you can see right here, yeah, and aberration strength is 1 and distance is 2.01, blur strength is 0, and vignette is also there a little bit. And also we have this mask over here, and then just on this Y curves I have decreased my, this is basically luminance, and I have decreased my luminance to have that sort of vignette effect. And this node, lastly, I added a gradient and again played with curves. You can see I have these shadows slightly above this region, and if I enable it, yeah, you can see there was some slight difference. And yeah, this is an empty node. So this was pretty much everything. I'll just right click here and clean up node graph. Now you can see these were the 8 nodes which I used to create this grade. So yeah, this was pretty much it. In this part I have all of those nodes to add the UFO. Okay, then I have these nodes, and with the help of transform and tracking, I was able to basically put all of those stuff onto my image, and it was tracked, so that's why it didn't look like that stuff was floating or something, with the help of tracking. And lastly, we added some letterbox and color grading, and the shot looked like this. So I hope that you like this one. This was a pretty breakdown on your demand, because you typed that I should make a VFX breakdown of this clip, so I did that. That's pretty much it. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and yeah, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and yeah, press that notification bell so that you never miss any upcoming videos of mine. And in case if you want this file also, you have the link provided in the description below. If it's not present right now, so it will be available in future. You can come back later. So that is it. See you. Bye bye. Peace. मैं बस पावर दे रहा हूँ मुझे। तू अगर इस पौधे को छुएगी ना तो इसका कलर चेंज हो जाएगा।
ठीक है।